muscle rounds before on a nice video with John Meadows. People are doing them all over the place. It's kind of cool. It's really neat to see. One of the things that gets missed, I'll try to add little tidbits to refine how people are using these, is that you pick, the first time you do one, something would be about a 15 rep max, just to get your load into the right spot. But that doesn't necessarily need to matter thereafter, because then you would progress each time you came back to that exercise. The idea is progressive overload, even with the muscle rounds. Now I'm traveling, so this is the sort of the aspect of the program that I put in here, is that you do muscle rounds when you travel, so you can play on new cool kit like this. And I mean, I could bring a logbook, but I'd be back here maybe next year, and I might do different exercises. No point progressive overloading every year on an exercise you do once a year. But otherwise, that's the idea with the muscle rounds. Don't just stick with the same weight, the same relative load, progress the load, progress the reps, et cetera, et cetera.
Like an unsung melody, the truth is waiting there for you to find it. It's not a blind but a remedy, a clear reminder of how it began. Deep inside your memory, turn away as you struggle to find it. You heard it call as you walked away, a voice will come from within.
If this were my regular gym, and I were to come back and do a muscle around this machine next week or weeks down the road, I got 2 reps into the 6th set of the muscle round, and next time I would try to get 3 or 4. Once I got 4, I would up the weight, so I'd actually have to pin a plate onto the stack in order to do that, because I was using the full stack. And that's how you progressively overload. So that 15 rep max load is just as a rough guideline. Okay, Vic, here we go.
You ain't an open, it would call out again. You're in the shadow beckoning, then your fears seem to keep you blinded, and you're gone as you walked away. When you think of this forsaken, listen to me now. You need never feel broken again. Tragedy. The answer isn't where you think you'd find it. Prepare yourself for a reckoning, for when your world seems to crumble again. Don't be afraid, don't turn away. You're the one who can redefine it. Don't let hope become a memory. Let the shadow permeate your mind and reveal the thoughts that were tucked away, so that the door can be opened again. Within your memories lies the answer if you dare to find it. Don't let hope become a memory. When you think of this forsaken, listen to me now. You need never feel broken again. Sometimes darkness can show you the light.
And that's one of the things that I really try to get people to do after that failure point. When the weight comes down, there's no more failure points. We're trying to get more volume, fewer of those failure points that really tax the nervous system. And if your form gets a little wonky at the end on that failure rep, you want to reset that, so you remember to activate the musculature in the way you want to train the target muscle, as opposed to doing other things like engaging your arms, which most people will do on back exercises very often. So got to go light enough where you can be basically as if someone were filming you, picture perfect form on the exercise once again. So if you use maybe a smidge, probably could have gone down 1 more plate, it would have been perfect, and she would have felt those ideally or in the lats the way she wanted.
stuff.
But you weigh half what I do, less than that.
Less than half.
Yeah. So relatively, we're probably stronger.
I'll take that. It's not true, but I'll take that.
No, it is probably true. Did you go to those? No, I described those yesterday morning. You guys weren't there yet, so this is just for the sake of demonstration. Have some fun stuff. Pump set's another set type in Fortitude Training, and the idea here is metabolic stress and obviously to create a pump. Various ways you can do that. One of the techniques is doing partial reps, so full reps and partial reps allows you to make the set continue on and on and on. The idea being if someone are watching, like, this person just wants to destroy themselves in the set. They just want to keep going. So you can do partials. One day, a couple years ago, I just sat down and did 5 reps, and I figured out that partials in a certain portion of range of motion or whatever exercise I was doing felt really good. So I did 5 reps and 5 partials. I did 4 more reps, I did 5 more partials. And I said, well, I'm going to see if I can get, it just occurred to me during the set to do 3, 2, and 1 with 5 partials in between. So I gave that a fancy name, 5s into the hole. People like it a lot, from what I've heard. They love it and they hate it. So I picked a weight here. We'll see if I can at least get maybe down to the set of 2 before I give out. If I get all the way through the 1 and the partials, just do partials until you have to come out of the machine. Eject button on this thing.
Yeah.
So that was too heavy, but
That was too heavy.
yeah, that was fucking nice though. I had never done. I don't have a pull-over machine that I can use that I like, so I'd never done those with a pump set. So now I know to go lighter.
Some me how these options still go fighting them. Let's define them. You made sure the world will remember the name, but didn't the thought even enter your mind? You're given a legion of monsters, a reason to take your life. And all you a pimp as you whore the insane. The damage you cause you cannot rectify. You've inspired new legions of monsters determined to take more life. Monster shattered the day. Monster shattered the day. You've given a legion of monsters a reason.
Head high, protest line. Freedom scribbled on your sign. Headline, New York Times. Standing on the edge of a revolution. Hey, hey, just obey. Your secret's safe with the NSA. In God we trust or the CIA. Standing on the edge of a revolution. Yeah, we're standing on the edge of a revolution. Revolution, revolution, revolution. No, we won't give up, we won't go away, 'cause we're not about to live in this mass delusion. No, we don't wanna hear another word you say, 'cause we know they're all depending on mass confusion. No, we can't turn back, we can't turn away, 'cause it's time we are relying on the last solution. No, we won't lay down and accept this fate, 'cause we're standing on the edge of a revolution. Wall Street, common thief, when they get caught, they all go free. A brand new yacht and a finder's fee, standing on the edge of a revolution. Same shit, different day. Can't keep fed if I can't get paid. We'll all be dead if the shit don't change. Standing on the edge of a revolution. Yeah, we're standing on the edge of a revolution. Revolution, revolution, revolution. No, we won't give up, we won't go away, 'cause we're not about to live in this mass delusion. No, we don't wanna hear another word you say, 'cause we know they're all depending on mass confusion. No, we can't turn back, we can't turn away, 'cause it's time we are relying on the last solution. No, we won't lay down and accept this fate, 'cause we're standing on the edge of a revolution. We'll all be dead if the shit don't change. What do we want? We want change. And are we gonna get there? Revolution. What do we want? We want change. Standing on the edge of a revolution. What do we want? We want change. And are we gonna get there? Revolution. What do we want? We want change. Standing on the edge of a revolution. No, we won't give up, we won't go away, 'cause we're not about to live in this mass delusion. No, we don't wanna hear another word you say, 'cause we know they're all depending on mass confusion. No, we can't turn back, we can't turn away, 'cause it's time we are relying on the last solution. No, we won't lay down and accept this fate, 'cause we're standing on the edge of a revolution. What do we want? We want change.
So Scott's gonna full stack the shoulder lateral raise, and basically I'm gonna be using a 15 and still fail on that because Scott's ludicrous and has massive delts.
You feel massive now, is what you said?
I was just, yeah, I can feel massive.
Oh, yeah?
I can out angle Scott.
get way in front of the camera and make it real small. One of the things about these muscle rounds you guys may have caught on to and watching through this all the way is that it's not often noted is that if you fail before the 6th set, you drop the weight down. That will usually be between 10 to 30% of what the load you've been using is, so that you get the rest of the sets of 4 without a failure point ideally. We missed the mark a couple times on that new machine. But the idea there that Vicky I think is finding very useful is that you get a little wonky with your form at the end, you start pulling on accessory muscles, things other than what you're trying to train. And when you drop the weight down to where you can actually reset your form, activate the target muscle with the quote-unquote mind muscle connection the way you want to, you realize, wow, how much you've been doing. And I do it myself all the time. You realize how much your form may have changed as you fatigue and you're just seeking out the reps as opposed to seeking out the stimulus in the muscle you're trying to train. So that's an important aspect of these is that you can pick a weight where you fail in the 4th set, and ideally you get to that 4th set at least. If you've gone heavier than that, it's probably too much weight. So you can progress within the 4th set, failing there, increasing the weight. You can progress rep by rep until you're past the 6th set, getting all 4 reps and beyond. Or you can just continue to progress, failing in the 6th set. Various ways you can do this. You can use muscle rounds to train heavier, or to train lighter, or if you just like getting the reps, beating the log book with the same weight, you can go from the 4th to the 5th to the 6th set before you move up in weight. So, that being said, here we go. Roughly 20%. That's about a midpoint in the 10 to 30% range to drop down. And I probably got a little bit off on the last rep there. So because I failed on the 2nd rep of the 4th set, that was relatively heavy as far as the weight goes for a muscle round. Probably should have gone down a plate or 2 on the drop. So those last 2 sets were a little more clean. So sometimes to get a feel for the machine, the weight, depending on how much a carriage weighs relative to the stack, as well as the variable resistance machine will determine the sort of the fatigue curve you have and how much a decrease in plate weight means in terms of the actual load that you're lifting because of the way the machine's constructed. So, muscle round tip number 3 or 4 for the day.
I'm not going to do the hop stack because I can't do the hop stack because my delts are miniature compared to Scott's. But this is how you get big delts.
Completely between the sets. I've seen people just hold the weight and do the muscle rounds. And the idea is that you're recovering so that you can get more reps and have more total volume just with that one failure point. And that creates a different sort of stimulus if you're continually holding the weight. What it can actually do if it's something that requires your hands, it just means that your forearms can be the weak link, and that might be the thing that causes you to fail. So recovery between the sets is vital. Come on.
smell the poppies, born and blooded every single time. Always keep me under finger. That's the spot where you might linger. Might see some type of pleasure in my mind. Here comes the water. Here comes to wash away the sins of you and I. This time we'll see like only one.
The overhead press is always known as like a compound move, so normally a lot of people use compound moves at the beginning of their workout. So why are you choosing to do it near enough the end after we've pre-fatigued it?
Because it makes it more of a delt exercise for me. It also means that because there's already some fatigue in the medial head of the delt, I'll tend to feel it more there.
Yep.
It also reminds me you do overhead presses all sorts of ways. Obviously behind the back requires a little more medial head of the delt because you have to pull back. If you put your elbows, and I have to, for me, because I tend to get biceps and then I'm constantly working around. I may do these one day like this, while I put on this machine, but more so like that. That lets me work around some of that issue. But today I feel pretty good, so I can pull my elbows back and do that. The more you pull back, retract the scapula, bring the elbows back, the more the medial head will get involved, simply because of that, the way you're doing the exercise in terms of kind of holding your posture throughout the range of motion. So, yeah, make sure that get as much of the delt involved. I've got so much relative anterior delt strength that I'd rather pre-fatigue and make the medial head more of a link. It's not going to be the weak link on an overhead press, but still, that's where I need more work. That's where most people need more work.
Definitely.
Yeah. Also warms up the old shoulders.
Yeah.
That's a lot of
Reduces
work.
the risk of injury as well,
Yeah,
right?
less weight, yeah. So, the issue with an overhead press and even just a regular chest press is getting the dumbbells up and again. If you go to powerhooks.com, I don't know what shipping would be to get it to the UK, but they're pretty solid products. Basically fits around the dumbbell handle and creates a hook that you could then hang the dumbbells off of, like a Smith bar or a bar in a rack. So the dumbbells will be hanging here, you got a bench underneath, rack them, your weight, rack them there. I even use daisy chains and will dangle those power hooks. So literally the dumbbells are right here, they're dangling right there in space. So you're pressing, moving, whatever it is, and just let go, and you're back at the starting position. I need to do a video for that. I did one once and it got lost in cyberspace someplace, so I need to make another one. Maybe just because I got the camera going, my ego's inflating, but that feels a little light, so I'm going to try these reverse, which makes it a lot harder. Let's see what happens here. I'm up with a couple.
Because Scott is so strong. Strong.
This will make this a heavy one.
Yeah.
The ghost that hides in your soul, rock and roll, rock and roll, rock and roll. Wipe the blood from
That's quite fun. I did a handcuff stretch, I think, on the video with John. And this one, normally you use a preacher bench, but we haven't got one around here that we can find. So you reach back and clasp your hands. This in itself could be quite a chore. And then this is an occlusion stretch. Position yourself. And stretch the delts back. And the stretch is intuitive, so you're finding the spots where it's tight. And because an occlusion stretch, I'm contracting the delts at the same time. You just want to make sure you're easy on your elbows. You're better bent like I have them for most people. I'm just trying to deepen the stretch while I'm still contracting the delts.
Now the point of these stretches is that people do not hold them for long enough. It should be about a 60-second stretch.
Yeah, 60 to 90.
So if you're only holding the stretch for 10 to 15 seconds, it's not long enough.
It starts with
One thing, I don't know why. It doesn't even matter how hard you try. Keep that in mind. I designed this rhyme to explain in due time. All I know, time is a valuable thing. Watch it fly by as the pendulum swings. Watch it count down to the end of the day. The clock takes life away. It's so unreal. Didn't look out below. Watch the time go right out the window. Trying to hold on to didn't even know I wasted it all just to watch you go. I kept everything inside, and even though I tried, it all fell apart. What it meant to be.
Almost kind of fine-tuning the metabolic stress aspect of the stimulus and training. So she's tuning in with her delts and contracting, well, maybe she doesn't feel as much of a burn, so she can stimulate that part of the muscle. So you're basically trying to make as much of the delt hurt as possible during this. You can deepen the purpose is not to gain flexibility per se, but you will. Somebody saw one of these stretches. I think I had a quad and hamstring stretch on Instagram, and started telling me about all the things that are actually in the book about stretching, comparing performance, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, which it does. But all this happens after you've trained the muscle group in question. So it's not pre-workout stretching stuff that we're doing here. The idea is to create an extra load and metabolic stress stimulus depending on which stretch type you choose. We've been doing occlusion stretches. The dumbbell fly was actually a extreme stretch. There's more of a load component. But we're not doing this before we train. It's very important to know because you don't want to impair performance while you're actually doing training. So, more stretching tips for you.
Got caught. No way. You couldn't do that again if you tried. Keep that in. That's a blooper.
That's a blooper.
That's a blooper.
I've never done that before. All right. We'll go start the third one again.
Fell apart. What it meant to be will eventually be a memory of a time I tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. I had to fall to lose it all, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. One thing, I don't know why. It doesn't even matter how hard you try. Keep that in mind. I designed this rhyme to remind myself how I tried so hard. In spite of the way you were mocking me, acting like I was part of your property, remembering all the times you fought with me, I'm surprised it got so. Things aren't the way they were before. You wouldn't even recognize me anymore. Not that you knew me back then, but it all comes back to me in the end. You kept everything inside, and even though I tried, it all fell apart. What it meant to me will eventually be a memory of a time when I tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it doesn't even For all this, there's only one thing you should know. I've put my trust in you, pushed as far as I can go. For all this, there's only one thing you should know. I tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. I had to fall to lose it all, but in the end, it doesn't even matter.
One thing too on these that you may notice she was doing is you were getting literally an extra rep coming from here, and then you were doing 4. So you're basically doing set to 5, which will change how much weight you can use. So you probably would have done, if you'd been able to start each rep here, you probably would have been able to get further along. It's okay. Learn. So
First time I've actually ever done that exercise as well for triceps, and I can really say, I mean, you can see the blood flow straight away. It was a really nice connection, actually.
Yeah, I
It was
like
very
this a lot,
nice.
yeah.
Much better than like a rope push down. It's just a different angle.
yeah.
Yeah.
But one thing another thing I get criticized for every once in a while, someone will pop in and look at my Instagram, and I show some of these exercises people don't normally do, because you can see people doing squats and bench presses and deadlifts all over the place, and I do those things as well. I do bench presses, I do flat bench, incline press. But new angles are important. New angles create different activation strategies, which makes it a novel stimulus. It's the novelty of stimulus. This is the basis of progressive overload at its core, is that the heavier load or the more reps is a novel stimulus. That's what produces growth. Variety is another basic principle of training. It applies to all sports. Variety of training is a basic training principle. This is the instance of variety of training in bodybuilding. New and novel exercises. And sometimes, if you're doing something for 30 years, you need to find the exercises you can still do without causing pain. So these are a great one. They look a little bit weird and funky. It's like, why don't you just do close grip bench presses? Well, I do as well, but variety is why some training too. So.
I've waited here for you ever long. Tonight I throw myself into and out of the red, out of her head she sang. Come down and waste away with me, down with